I'm just gonna talk briefly about Terran, about things that I noticed are subtle things that he's doing that maybe that I think maybe he could change up a bit and how I would change it up and stuff. Not necessarily saying that he's a bad player at all, just doesn't have a ton of experience. Okay, so standard in terms of playing is considered to go a 10 supply depot at 56 seconds. Usually they rally the worker out on 9 supply out to it. So when the 9 supply worker finishes and the 10 one starts building, this one's on its way over. Um, Usually they use that same worker to build a barracks. Now if you're playing versus Terran or Zerg, usually at 220 ish, you send an SCV out. You can also send it out if you think that they might come and attack you with like a stalker and mothership core, but the computer never does that, so I wouldn't worry so much about that. So 226 is that target time. Usually it's around 14 supply or so. Up to now, in terms of units, I'm actually 1 unit ahead at this point in the game, which seems a little odd too. I think a lot of that has to do with just I put my workers on close spots and started my workers right at the right time. Started my depot at the right time. Okay, so with this build that I'm doing, what you do is you get 3 on gas right away, and then right after you start your Reaper, you take 2 off gas, and so you only have the 1 on gas, and that gas you're going to use to build a reactor, and then with all the extra minerals you're going to build a command center and 2 other barracks really fast. Okay. What some people do after that is they go an engineering bay right after that first, or they do like 1 racks, the engineering bay, and then another barracks, and throw stim on it, and then they go for sort of like an 8-minute timing. That's the other sort of like pressure build that's really common out this. Okay, so we're just gonna watch from your point of view. I'm just gonna mention some things. So in terms of workers, you're always building workers. You want to build workers up to 15 supply. If you're gonna take gas later, you should take it at 15. So like the 3 gas timings are to take it on 12 and get a Reaper. Take it on 11 to get a factory right after the... Well, I guess I should say all the gas timings. 11 before the barracks is if you get a factory right after the barracks and you're rushing towards something like Widow Mine Drops or Banshees. You can get your barracks and then get your refinery on 12, and that's to rush to Reapers. If you do 12 and then 13, usually that's to get some sort of bio push afterwards, or some sort of stim. And then if you see 12 and then into 15 gas with 2 on gas, it's it's for people who like to go into lots of bio with lots of marines early and kind of poke with those marines, and then follow up with faster expand around 11 minutes. Okay, so at this point in the game, the next big thing I'm going to say is that you took the expansion a little early. It's better to get the orbital here and then expand. And the timing on the expansion, usually if you get it before the depot, is you get it on 18 and then you get the depot on 18 as well, which is kind of the build that I sent you. And you're going to use the right now you're not necessarily building a worker. If you were building a worker, you'd be at 19 supply. So it's okay time wise, but you're only at 12 workers right now. Whereas I'm at 15. So I have 3 extra workers, 16 workers, I guess, if you include that one, but yours is gone too. So you have 2 gone. I have 2 gone. Your advantage is that your command center is a hair faster, but because I have a mule mining, my income's already 200 minerals a minute faster. Getting the mule is as soon as you can is like really important in terms of Terran builds. Okay, so we'll go back to watching some more. So the next thing I would say is that the really fast timings with like a set of Marines or a set of Roaches, it comes by about 4:20, 4:30. I mean, not 4:20, 4:30. Like 4:45, it leaves the base, and they'll get to your base around 5:10. So usually you want to send a worker out about now to scout and take the towers if you're playing against the comps, just so you can have some vision. Okay. Again, you're not building any workers out of this, and you have 3 on gas. You're turning this into an orbital, which is fine, and this one is going to be an orbital relatively soon, so that's fine. You're getting your barracks. Time-wise, our barracks are going down about the same time, so that's really good. I'm building 2 Marines at a time. You're building 1 at a time, just because I have that. And I have the Reaper on the map so I can see what's coming. So I'm 2 workers ahead and have a mule. And you have 2 Marines to my 2 Marines, and you're building another one right now. Okay. Now you're taking the second gas here. Now, this is the way that gas timings work. Okay. You need the things that you need lots of gas for are upgrades and high tier units. So, Widow Mines cost 75 gas a piece. Medevacs cost 100 gas a piece. The Siege Tanks cost 125 gas. The Ghosts are really gas intensive. So you need lots of gas when you're getting those units or when you're getting the upgrades out really fast. In this case, if you put down a factory after this, the gas makes sense. But because you didn't put down a factory here, this gas doesn't make sense. And usually the timing that you get your second gas is usually about halfway through when your factory's done or an engineering base done after your first set of barracks. That's if you want to get some really hard sort of tech going pretty fast with some techie units. Okay? You're queuing up workers. It's best to queue up about 3 instead of 5 if you can. Just because you could have done 1 less and build a factory or something right now. You're building the tech lab pretty fast right as soon as this finished, basically. Complete. That's exactly what you want to do. Getting to stim early on is one of the most important things to be able to micro and defend. Complete. Okay. So you're getting the engineering bay right after this. You should have gotten you'd want to start the gas about now if you're getting the engineering bay. A little bit earlier. You're floating about 300 gas because of that. And you're also don't have your stim started. You're running low on minerals. Usually you build it at your supply depot. If you count the number of units that can be built out of your buildings, so this is 1, 2, 3, because this counts as 2 units. 2 units, 2 units, 1 unit. So 5 units before this goes is usually one. So like 33 out of 38 would be when you want to build your units, build your supply depot. And then
additional supply depots.
And usually you just don't count the second orbital. You skip 1 orbital. And you do the same thing again. So you would once you have 5 tech structures, you want to build 2 at a time about. So 5 structures building units. So that sort of is the rule of thumb there of when to build your supply depots. It's really important to get at least some sort of vision so you kind of have a good idea of when they might attack. If you know that they're going to attack and you're going to lots of tech, then you need to throw down lots of bunkers. If not, then you can just sit on a bunch of units. So my stim's actually faster than yours, even though your reactor finished so much before mine. Now, they're attacking here, and I move over really slow, which is kind of bad. Your positioning here is really good. You don't want to stay close enough to the edge that the roaches can shoot you. And you want to sort of have it so the roaches are hitting you here. And they kind of clog themselves up in there. Yeah, this is just bad on my part not to come fast enough. Okay, so if you look right now, you're floating 1,100 minerals and 500 gas, and you're at 39 out of 46. You have your depot started, so your depot's on time. But you should have either more production or another command center started. So
Our allies are being
I mean,
attacked.
it's kind of hard when you're microing units and stuff too. I understand. The rule of thumb is that for every 300 minerals and 100 gas, you throw down a higher tech structure, and for every 300 minerals, you throw down barracks. So in this case, you would throw down, say, 3 barracks and a factory and maybe another engineering bay, and that would be how you would just spend this money right out on lots of units. The reason why
Research complete.
you don't spend all the way to it is that you actually need a lot of the supply depots, which you don't have. Okay, I'm gonna pause it here. So once you're on the 3 structures and you have this, and you're getting the factory, this is sort of the basic build order of stuff. You're getting the reactor, which implies that you don't need as much gas again. So everything you've done up until now is sort of a low gas build, but you have a lot of gas really early. Now, the way that I generally do it is that I count my structures when I throw down the starport after the factory and go to move things over. That's usually about the same time that I'm throwing down my last 2 gases, timing wise. So, I have 1 gas. That gas, its goal is to get stim and to get the add-ons and an upgrade. Then once you have your add-ons started for each one, and you're getting ready to start your upgrade, during your halfway through building your engineering bay or your factory, you're building your second gas. Then once your factory and your eBay are both done, and you start a starport, usually you throw down your other 2 gas, and that sort of is the general gas timing for the 3 barracks, and then the 2 engineering bays into the starport. The I chose to go armor first because I wanted to have really beefy marauders so I could fight both armies. Usually, if you're gonna go marauder heavy, you going armor first makes your army really tough. They can take lots of hits, especially versus like a Hydralisk army or wings. Okay. So from there, the next part of the game
Add-on
is
complete.
once you get up to full saturation, which is 16 to 20 workers here, and you have 12 workers here, you need to do 2 supply depots at a time. Just kind of in the habit of that.
Upgrade complete.
Um, you're getting combat shields at a really good time, actually. I think well, I guess my combat shields are done. Okay, now in terms of your army, I would put. I don't like to put any buildings in this sort of area because they can attack it from the low ground. So I think it's better to put buildings up here, or to put buildings like out here and sort of create like a half choke, like right here. Your army can sit behind and take the gold. When you,
Add-on
in terms of your
complete.
hotkeys, so you should use 4 hotkeys. You should put your command centers and your upgrade structures on one hotkey,
Research complete.
and then you should put all your buildings to build and all your units on another hotkey. And traditionally, what people do to build is they'll hit, say let's say this is on 2. You would hit 2 to select all your building structures, and then you build everything from your barracks, and then you hit tab, and then you build whatever it is from your factory, and then you hit tab, and you build whatever it is from the starport. When you build
Our
units,
allies
you would
are being attacked.
when I say units, when you build SCVs, you click on your base. So let's say that these were on 1. You would click on 1. Then when you go to your upgrades, then you hit tab,
Base
and that's
is
the
under
general
attack.
way that people mostly use your hotkeys. Um, and you generally want to put your army on 1 hotkey altogether. And I'm sorry about the
Add-on
cough.
complete.
And then you want to put all your units on another one. So I'm just going to pause it. In terms of the units, I have 10 more workers than you do. And in terms of the army value, I I have about 4